Hello, angel babies. Welcome back. My name is Trisha, and this is Trisha's Temple. Today, we are looking at how we can reconnect with our inner child. You have 3 little duckies that you can choose from. We are going to look first at your current overall energy. Second, how have you been feeling towards your inner child? And then how has your inner child been feeling towards you? Next, we'll look at what does your inner child want more of? What do they want less of? And we're going to look at those on a physical level, emotional, intellectually, and spiritually. Then we'll look at how can you stay connected to your inner child more consistently? And last, we'll look at what would your inner child say to you right now? And to look at your current overall energy, we are going to bring in the game I Spy. It was one of my favorite games growing up. I played it so much. It's one of those matching games where you have to remember which card was placed where on the board or on the floor. So we're going to use those cards to help us tap into our inner child. Okay, so let's look at your 3 options. First, you can use this little ghost that kind of looks like it's been dunked in glaze or something, with a little spider on the side and a web. And its corresponding oracle card is the Swan, number 30. Pile number 2's option is this little witch. She has a broom on the side. She's wearing a cape. I don't even know what these symbols are on the front. Maybe it's supposed to be like a little tie. And her card is the Waterfall, number 15. And pile number 3, you have the glow-in-dark skeleton duck. This reminds me of glow-in-the-dark stars. I used to always go in the bathroom and try and see if my things would light up. And your card is the Tigress, number 27. Okay, so take the time that you need to choose your card and or duck. You could also look down at the timestamp and see if there is a number that's calling to you. And I will see you in your pile. Love you, bye. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the little duck dipped, it looks like it's dipped in glaze with the spider on the side and the swan card, then this is your reading. We are first going to get some of these I Spy memory game cards to find out what your current energy is, to just double check that this is in fact your reading. And if not, you can always check out another pile and see if that better suits your energy. So let's tune in to your current energy, how you're feeling right now. And we're gonna get 6 cards. Okay, let's see. Brings me back. We have the scissors and thread, like a tiny little sewing machine. guitar with some little blocks and like a little lacy snowflake, a fire hydrant, and a little deer. And what is this thing? It's like, I don't know if that's like a ladder, or also looks like, reminds me of like Chutes and Ladders. And it's like maybe some doll's legs. I'm gonna scoot these up. Then next we have this. I just thought of Hercules. You want to buy a sundial? This is like an hourglass and a seashell, little ring in the sand, very beachy. We have a shovel with a funnel and some blocks. And then last we have, another shovel. Hey, what a match. Nice. With a lobster, and this looks like maybe one of those like little umbrellas that goes in a drink or something, and another little lobster, and a penny, little guy. So got lots of things going on here that you could be connecting to, that you might be, these could be things related to current hobbies that you've been interested in. It could be things related to things that you enjoyed when you were a child. This is reminding me of if you were when you were a child doing those like Rube Goldberg, I can never say that right, where it's like you set up a series of like a chain event reaction. So like the dominoes fall, and then that makes the ball roll to then like like one thing after another, that like the ball is following along this series of events to like end up at the end of the obstacle course. So maybe you are some sort of like an engineer. That could have been something that you enjoyed when you were a child. There's also like multiple odes to the sand. That could be something that you have been wanting to go to the beach or to travel, to reconnect with just the earth in that way, to get back to the ocean. We have also this deer here. That's another call to nature. And I'm also seeing this little bowling pin. Maybe you like to bowl. Maybe you're a musician or you are learning to play the guitar. With multiple sets of blocks. Maybe you like to construct things, build. Maybe you've been getting into sewing or stitching, embroidery, something like that. So if that sounds like you, then this is your pile. Next, we are going to look at how have you been feeling towards your inner child. We're going to do this card, the Swan. And then we have a few more cards to check in. The Nymph The premise is success. The power of love creates and sustains you. Then we have the King of Cups. The Four of Swords. And last but not least, we have the Grindylow. Well, that reminds me of Harry Potter. Fall. All is not what it appears. Inner power illuminates the way. So, what I'm picking up from in your pile of cards is that there might be some mixed feelings. All is not what it appears. Inner power illuminates the way. That you might have had a moment where you were pausing or feeling like you needed some sense of stillness or rest, or to take a break, and that has been helping you to reconnect with your inner child. But there might have been a little bit of a feeling like a little bit of resistance that was coming up in that sometimes it can be hard to take that break and slow down. But in that process, you are opening yourself up more to your inner child and finding a lot more emotional abundance and power to not only feel more connected to your inner child and feel like that communication is more like the pathway to connect to your inner child is more open, but as you're doing that, it's allowing you to feel more connected to other people as well. I'm noticing the little mermaid in the background of this card right here. And it's like your imagination is expanding as you have been able to create more safety and stillness for yourself, which then has been allowing you to create this sense of sovereignty, or like the King of Cups is a master of emotions. This King of Cups feels very grounded while also allowing his emotions, their emotions, to flow as they come. And I think that that's how you've been feeling more towards your inner child lately. That it might not be perfect, because that's not realistic, but you've been opening yourself up more to what's in the water, to the possibilities in your imagination, in your creativity, and then allowing that to manifest into your reality. I want to read what it says about the swan in this oracle deck. This actually brings me back to a memory from my childhood. I was at a wedding and I was sitting by a pond and there were just some swans on the pond, and I was very much romanticizing the whole experience. And not just in the fact that, of course, like a wedding is a romantic experience, but the whole day turned into this just very, like, I was so present in every moment while also having this like beautiful imaginative experience. And I think that that's something that you're finding as you're reconnecting with your inner child, is each moment you're able to gain more presence with nature, with being like, as you're looking out at the pond, or as you're going on a walk, as you're reading your book, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, the little more ritualistic details of your day, the more what could be mundane, you're starting to be able to make those more magical. Okay, the swan. There is no use in living a life where you are not present. Exactly what I was saying. Are you rushing from one thing just so you can get to the next, or are you rushing from one thing just so you can get to the next thing you are going to rush through? And when do you stop? When do you finally get there? What does there even look like? The spirit of the swan comes to you today to remind you to find serenity in the present moment. Imagine a swan gliding gracefully over the water while its feet are constantly padding below the surface. It's using its energy wisely to propel itself to the right direction, while the rest of its being remains calm. In the same way, serenity doesn't mean a lack of movement. It means efficiency and grace. When you focus your energy and don't let it dissipate through anxiety or overthinking, you can conquer so much more with less effort. Worrying won't make things happen faster, but it will wear down your spirit, and you won't get too far with an agitated mind. So take a breath, organize your thoughts, and be in the moment. As you calm your spirit, the answers you seek will start to flow from your heart, and things will start unfolding with ease. Find serenity, surrendering, being present, enjoying life, living in the moment. When this card is out of balance, dwelling in the future, experiencing an agitated mind, losing the ability to enjoy life, fearing missing out. So if you have been feeling like you aren't quite in this place of serenity and being able to be more present with yourself, I think that this is showing you that this is where your relationship with your inner child is moving, and it's also how your inner child is feeling towards you. That's what your inner child is showing you that you are capable of together. The power of love creates and sustains you. That you're creating more in harmony with your inner child rather than being in such resistance with your inner child, that you're moving out of the, like, you need to discipline your inner child, or you need to be so directive, commanding, controlling tell your inner child, this is what we need to do all the time, and instead moving into a place of, what do we want to create today? And how is that going to happen? And that's how you have been feeling towards each other. Even if it's not quite there yet. That there's still some pieces that are fine-tuning or that you're still figuring out, because that's a constant process. And back to this, the inner power illuminates the way, that your inner child, the more that you tune into your inner child, the more that you're going to be receiving that direction. Okay. Now we are going to look at, what does your inner child want more of? And we're going to use the Phantasma or Phantasma Tarot. And we're going to do a card for physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. What does pile 1's inner child want more of physically? Whoa. That one went flying. 8 of Swords. This is what they want more of emotionally. Intellectually. Ooh. And two cards for spiritually. Don't get dizzy. Need more space. Okay, so they want more physically. 8 of Swords. This is showing that your inner child wants more physically of you moving towards or away from, out of the things that are holding you back. So this could be literally like moving a physical location. It could be moving, like changing a job. It could be things like getting rid of things in your physical space. It could be going on more walks to clear headspace, like very, very physical. The 8 of Swords shows you that while yes, it looks like you are bound by all of this rope and you have all these swords in front of you, you have much more ability to rip those off because it's not actually holding you down. That really, if you just lift up your arms, then you could start pulling those swords out. So your inner child is telling you, I want some more freedom. Let's play. Let's run and jump and dance and sing, I'm feeling a little bit restricted physically. So if you are feeling that sense of restriction in your physical space, it could be that, like, on a very literal way, that like maybe you live in a small space, so getting outside more, or it could be that something about your physical body is feeling restricted in the way that you express yourself. Now I'm thinking of the show Dancing with the Stars, and one of the dancers, his name is Scott, one of the judges tells him that he needs to take up more space on the dance floor. And that is what your inner child wants. It wants you to start taking up more space. Your inner child is craving that expression and just like more fluid movement, that you don't have to be so confined, even if it feels like you are confined. They're inviting you, asking you for more passion, more footwork. Okay, and emotionally, honestly, these are tying in quite well together. That the King of Wands is a very passionate, expressive, like, he's putting his personal flavor of magic into the ground, and then it's growing. He's holding on to his power, and also like balancing on his tiptoes within this tree pose. That the King of Wands is showing you that emotionally your inner child is craving expression. So just as much as like on a very physical level, your inner child wants that expansion emotionally. So that could be things like to put your emotion into a creative project. It could be things like writing. It could be things like crying. Channeling your emotion into something more that shows your passion and doesn't feel so restricted. It can also mean that your inner child is just inviting you to acknowledge, is asking you to acknowledge that you are passionate, that you are powerful. And sometimes we will have this like rise in passion, and we'll start to feel it, and then we'll shut it down. And your inner child is wanting more of like allowing the passion to be there, to exist. And sometimes you don't even need to necessarily do anything with it, but just to acknowledge that it is there and to feel into it. And that acknowledgement can feel so validating, that when you are a child, There can be times when you get excited about something, whether it's a dance that you made up or it's a piece of art that you made, it's an idea that you have, whatever it might be for you, and you take it to an adult that you want to be excited with you, and instead they shut down your idea or they give you all of the reasons why it's not going to work out for you. That feeling can be very crushing. And so your inner child is wanting more of your support, more of your belief in your dreams. That emotional validation goes such a long way. Instead of trying to fix the problem or come up with all the reasons why it won't work out. Just let the dream exist without shutting it down. That's what your inner child is telling you with the King of Wands. Okay. Intellectually, the Two of Cups, intellectually. It's interesting because the Two of Cups is generally about an emotional relationship. So maybe what your inner child is telling you is that you have been very in your head about your emotions and trying to, just as some of these other cards were saying, that intellectually your inner child is asking for a break. It's reminding me of the song, give your heart a break, but give your mind a break. Give your intellectual, overthinking, rational mind some time to rest. That sometimes we can get so overstimulated by the noise of listening to everybody else's ideas and their perceptions. And so your inner child is asking that on an intellectual level for you to trust yourself. That this pairing here is a you acknowledging your own intellectual prowess. Wow, okay. Your own intellectual capability, that just like with the King of Wands, that you have been dismissed or invalidated in the past on an emotional level, perhaps you've also been invalidated on an intellectual level, that other people may have perhaps infantilized you or treated you like you were not very smart or capable. So the Two of Cups is telling you, inviting you through your inner child to validate your intelligence, validate the fact that you have brought yourself to where you are today, and look at how far you've come. Look at how capable you are to overcome extremely hard things, to come up with solutions when it seemed like all was lost, that there was no way out of the situation. And you made it through, you made it out, and you are doing so much better than anybody could expect. That you are thriving more so than you give yourself credit for. Your inner child is telling you to honor your intelligence. And that love pouring into the intelligence will help to cut out some of the overthinking spirals that you might end up in, or the feeling of, I'm never going to come up with a solution to this problem. That when you back out of it a little bit and give yourself a rest, you're going to find more solutions, because you realize, oh, I already do have the solutions. They're already within me. My inner child was telling me this whole time. Okay, and then spiritually, the moon and the 5 of Wands, this is showing me that you might have felt some conflict within yourself, and that this deep reflection and accessing your subconscious, accessing your inner child, and feeling more at home within yourself is what your inner child has really been craving. Your inner child is wanting more, not more war, but more acknowledgement of the battles that you've already won, more acknowledgement of the fact that battling it out with yourself doesn't actually get you anywhere, more acknowledgement of the mirror that you're looking at every day, that when you are looking at yourself and speaking to yourself, that those words of love, or perhaps sometimes that you might speak to yourself cruelly, where do those really come from? That sometimes we wind up speaking to ourselves the way that we would never speak to somebody that we love. And your inner child is saying, hey, would you speak to me if I were like a little kid in front of you? Would you really speak to a child like that? I don't think so. And reminding you of all of the deep spiritual work that you have already done to get you this far, that you don't need to beat yourself up for meeting more shadows, for discovering the depths of your psyche. That is only proof of your honesty and your willingness to some energy moving, to do the hard work. And also, your inner child is saying it doesn't have to be so hard all the time. You don't have to bring the daggers and the pitchforks into battle. We can lighten it up a little bit more around here. We can bring some more play to the spiritual work. Okay. Let's look at, what does your inner child want less of? physically. Ten of Pentacles. Emotionally, the Hanged Man. Intellectually, Strength. that I feel like that checks out. Oh, the wind is picking up. I used to really hate the wind as a child. It freaked me out. I was like, I can handle a storm, but not the wind. Please, no, not the wind. Which is so funny because the wind is what carries. And we got 2 again. Wait, no, we're good. We're good. Okay. 2 of Wands. 4. Spiritually. Okay. So, what does your inner child want less of physically? 10 of Pentacles. Immediately, I was thinking that your inner child is saying, you know, those big dreams that you have, those are amazing. Love that for us. That's so great. But you don't have to push yourself so hard every single day. This is like when you are putting your head down and just like in grind mode, like, let's go, let's meet these deadlines, your inner child is saying, hey, can we like chill a little bit? Like, that doesn't mean you have to give up on your dreams. Please don't give up on your dreams. Oh, sorry. Let me raise it up a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out this whole rigmarole. Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. Okay. That your inner child is saying yes to the dreams, no to the, or less of the being so like, that is the only thing that is going to make you happy on a physical level. Like, when it comes to money, when it comes to feeling safe in your body, when it comes to just like the hustle culture and being busy all the time, your inner child says no. Your inner child says less of that, please. It's reminding me of like when you're a kid and you have all of these chores to do, that your inner child is feeling like you've given them this list of chores to do. On a Saturday or whatever day, and they're saying, but let's play. And that in playing, you end up discovering more like great ideas or unlocking more that helps you towards your dreams. Whereas when you just like sat down at your computer for a 10-hour stretch, you ended up feeling like very drained and like your head hurts, and then the next day it was hard to get out of bed and you felt really overstimulated. So your inner child is saying, physically, let's slow down a little bit. Let's be more gentle with our body while we move towards our dreams. Okay, emotionally, the Hanged Man. So less of the Hanged Man. Interesting. So maybe you have been in this like more feeling flipped upside down, retreating from the world, or just in a pause. And your inner child is saying, I want less of this. Needing to I'm actually feeling like a heaviness in my chest right now. I want less overcomplication of things that could be more simple, and that like in your day-to-day life, the things are going to be presented to you as you meet new people, as you go and get your coffee, as you are just going about your normal routine. And are like starting to create this flow for yourself. There are naturally going to be things presented to you. So your inner child is saying, you don't have to manufacture or like force emotional experiences, or for like the emotional expression to come forward, for the creativity to happen. That it just will start to happen as you are more present in your day-to-day life, as you are living on earth more, instead of being so up in your head. And that when you notice that you're up in your head, you say, oh, hi, I noticed I was just kind of spacing out, and now I'm going to bring myself back down to earth through observing this tree in front of me, or this swan that is on the pond, whatever it is that's around you. Even the pen that you're holding in your hand. Okay. Intellectually, strength. So again, I was thinking that your inner child is saying, you don't have to always you don't always need to be so strong. That it's okay to start letting some of your masks of being any particular way that you think that people want you to be, whether that is smart, whether that is not as smart. However it is that people think you should be, that you can let some of that weight that you've been carrying go. And that you can start to trust the universe, the earth, maybe even the people around you more. This strength, less strength, it's really connecting all of this story quite well. It's saying you have been so strong for so long, and it's okay to let down your guard more often. That you have created more safety, and your inner child is saying it's okay to let that go. It's okay to not always have all of the answers. Yeah. Spiritually, Two of Wands, what does your inner child want less of? Your inner child wants less of this is making me think of like you're sitting in the tree, you have two options in front of you, and you just keep going back and forth. This one or that one, this one or that one. And when it comes to spirituality, we can sometimes get hung up on trying to be it can become this like very moral thing where we want to be a good person. We want to be just and righteous or true. But when it comes to having multiple good options in front of you, your inner child is saying less worrying about which way you should go, less worrying about being a good person, and just allowing yourself to be a person, just allowing yourself to go in one direction and see how it is. Explore that way. This way or that way, it doesn't really matter. You'll learn the lessons either way. And your inner child is up for the ride, up for the adventure. Wonderful. Now we're going to look at how you can stay connected to your inner child more consistently with the Every Little Thing You Do Is Magic tarot. What can or how can Pile 1 stay connected to their inner child more consistently? We have the Six of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, the Nine of Wands. Okay. This is just making me think of sharing the emotional space. Interesting. Okay. So what I'm gathering from this is that your inner child, like how you'll stay more consistently connected to your inner child is by allowing more room for both of you to exist at the same time. That it's not, oh, my inner child has their time to play and then I have to be the adult now and like take over control. Like think of when you're a kid and it's like, okay, like you get to choose, you get to decide and play, and it's like kids time, and then it's okay, now we're back to being serious. It's when you're in school and you have recess, and then we're back to sitting in our desks being serious students. That instead of it being so kid inner child play versus adult focused, now it's your turn to hold on to the reins. That instead it's that you're both existing at the same time and you're allowing your inner child to help be a guide to you, to give you energy. Like, you know how children in general seem to have just so much energy. Why do you think that is? Part of it is because they are passionate and excited about life, that they still have that curiosity and wonder. So this Six of Pentacles is telling you that your inner child wants you to hold on to or allow them the room to be there all of the time, to give you insights and curiosity and wonder, to find the magic in life all of the time, while you are also there as the adults in the mix, reminding yourself, okay, like, let's go to bed now, or, you know, like some of the things that help you to stay healthier or whatever, like that you're helping with some of the boundaries while your inner child is able to have that freedom and flexibility to create and to play and to dream. The Eight of Cups is, I mean, it's making me think of writing letters to people that you love, like handwritten notes. That maybe you have some wounds from your past that you've still been holding on to. And whether you decide to like actually write a note to these people and then you could send it to them, or it could be more of like a ritual ceremony type thing where you either like read it out loud to your therapist, or you burn it, or you bury it. Whatever it is that feels like a way for you to release some of these wounds, to cry, to let it go, that to be more consistently connected to your inner child. Your inner child is saying, let us throw the tantrum. Let us feel that emotion so that it isn't weighing us down. And that's not to say that you're never going to feel those emotions again, that things do cycle around and then you gain more perspective on them. But that's how you're going to consistently stay more connected to this light childlike aspect of you, is to allow the emotion to come up when it wants to acknowledge it, to give it that freedom. And sometimes it might be, oh hey, I feel this emotion coming up right as I'm about to go in to give a presentation, or I'm interacting with somebody, and you acknowledge it and you say, hey there, sadness, I see that you're there. Will you please wait until like this point in the day, and then build that trust with your inner child that yes, you will in fact allow yourself to cry, or allow yourself to get angry later on when it feels safe to express that emotion. Then the Nine of Wands. This is really making me think of I actually really want to read what this says in the book. Wands. There we go. You've been fighting so hard and you are tired. Traditionally, this card shows a wounded soldier leaning on their weapon, standing alone among a group of other fighting tools. It's important we note that the weapons here are the wands. What inner fire can you conjure to finish this fight? Dig deep and bolster yourself for the final blows. You've got this. Use your wands well. Stubbornness is keeping you from finally ending this fight. Do you feel stuck trying to be right? Or perhaps you are afraid of heartache, loss, or instability. Unfortunately, there's no way to move without taking a step forward. So make peace with reality and get going. It's time. And the song is Super Bloom by Mr. Wives. The scent is amber, and the I can show you the page. The crystal is lithium quartz, which represents holistic support, ease, and nurturing. These two cards together, honestly, with the Six of Pentacles as well, is saying leave room for all of your emotions. Leave room for the heartbreak and the excitement. Leave room for whatever emotion wants to come up, needs to come up. But also when you are feeling tired, that your inner child is a lot of that fire in you that will help you get through those challenging times. That sometimes we're like, how did I make it through that really shitty time? How did I make it from point A to point B in my life when you look back? And it's because your inner child kicks in, your inner fighter. And your inner child has so much more wisdom than we often give it credit for. Sometimes we think, oh, well, it's just a child. It doesn't know, but it has a lot more to teach us. All right. Last, in your beautiful reading, what would your inner child like to say to you right now? The first thing that I was just thinking right now is that you're in constant communication, whether you realize it or not. And there are little things around you, things like memories that will randomly pop up from your childhood, movies that you like to watch now, music that you enjoy listening to. Like, so many things about your life right now are reflections of your childhood. And if you are able to notice that, your inner child will be able to shine through even more. Maybe even remembering some of the toys that you liked to play with when you were a kid. What games did you play? Now I'm thinking of night games. Did you play night games as a kid? What were your favorites? Okay. Look at these colors. Earth, peace, grounding. Throughout this entire reading, I've definitely been feeling like your inner child wants to get outside. Your inner child, maybe that's something that you did more when you were a kid, is play outside in the backyard, or like I said, night games. I'm thinking of tree houses or like a fort of some sort, or that's maybe something that you've wanted to do and that you could somehow create a space that was like that for yourself, whether you actually built it or just had a place in your, like, that maybe you go on a walk to a similar place and then you make that sort of your sanctuary that you return to, and it feels like a fort. Cauldron, creation, opportunity, caring, get one more. What does pile one's inner child want to say to them right now? Sage. Wisdom, purification, and harmony. Word harmony is standing out. I definitely think that your inner child right now is wanting to say to you that they want to want you to remember some of the things that you used to enjoy when you were a kid. This is reminding me of like making potions, or like I don't know if any of you took the contents out of your fridge or the bathroom and turned those into a potion, or just played around with them like they were a science experiment. That your inner child is saying, do you remember when we used to see everything as an opportunity for exploration and play? That we would see the shadows on the wall as somewhere where we could make hand puppets, or we would okay, now I'm thinking about the movie The Proposal, when the grandma is like in the woods and she's like singing like hoo ha ha like what, she's doing some sort of chant or ritual, and the Sandra Bullock's character like comes in on her and she's like, what is she doing? And Sandra Bullock was like a lot more rigid of a character at the beginning, but as she gets to know Ryan Reynolds' character and his family, she just falls in love with them, and she starts to relax more and open up and feel more at home. And I think that that's something that your inner child is saying to you right now, that what your inner child would want to say. This is our home. Earth is our home. And let's make it a place where we feel safe. You're already doing such a good job. We can play even more. We can create even more. I would like to build or make potions, be very witchy. Whatever your personal vibe is, maybe you're more of a tinkerer or somebody who likes to, who can see the small things and imagine how they could become something, like put all the pieces together. And your inner child is saying, there's so much opportunity, and you don't have to hold us back. We don't have to hold back anymore. It's okay to open up. That was a very sweet and beautiful reading, Pile One. Thank you so much for being here. If you have enjoyed this reading, I would love to know how it resonates with you down in the comments. Share any childhood memories that came up for you. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Check out the links below if you're interested in a personal reading or connecting with me in another way. I also have a free resource available to help you reconnect with yourself and design your dream life. I love you so much. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose the little witchy duck and the waterfall card, then this is your reading. First, we are going to do a little energy check for your overall energy, and maybe it will be a little throwback for you. I have these I Spy memory game cards. So we're going to pick 6 of these cards to find out what your current energy is. Maybe some of your current hobbies, or just things that are coming up in your life right now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Top, a block with the letter J, little dog, rabbit, the letter H block. There's also like this hand cart, a seahorse and a chicken, got a train and a creepy clown, some thumbtacks, a match, you got the other seahorse and a bottle, glass bottle, some scissors, 25-cent tag, another letter H, and a sun. So the letter H could be significant to you. Maybe it's the first letter of your name, last name, somebody important to you. Could also be, we also have multiple thumbtacks. Maybe you are using a corkboard of some sort to hang things up for memories or reminders. Maybe you're selling something, or you've been shopping lately, using scissors for little projects. The rabbit can be representative of new beginnings, fresh start, feeling like you are ready to jump into the next season of your life. The handcart is making me think of just like manual labor, doing hard work. Oh, I also am seeing that this one actually has the letter R on it. This block has the letter R. We have, oh, this is actually like a salt shaker. So we have this dog, so maybe you have a dog or want to get a dog. But remember, this part is kind of just for fun and silly to help us get into the energy of your inner child and where you might be right now. The top, it's making me think of playing top with like the little spinny game when you're a kid, and so maybe you have been reconnecting to some games that you liked to play when you were a kid. Oh, this one has the letter V on it, So we have J, V, R, H. The seahorses could be symbolic of you going to the ocean, connecting to the beach. The previous reading also had some things related to that, so you might have been called to that deck as well, or that reading as well, that pile. Anyway, so if any of that is calling to you, then this could be your reading. Let's see. Let's check in with your relationship with your inner child right now. You got 3 cards. Well, first we have the waterfall. And then you got 3 tarot that came out for you. 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords, and King of Swords. Lots of swords. And then the Lamia. Winter, ethereal waves cast a magical spell. Waves. And then the Boggle Fairy, spring, conscientious completion brings results. Prophetic imaginings become real. 2 11s, 11 11. Okay, so your relationship with your inner child, when you're looking at the swords, it could feel like the beginning, these first couple could feel a little bit like some turbulence, some heartbreak, some grief could be coming up as you're reconnecting to your inner child. Like your inner child is bringing up some pain and some wounding that's hard to look at. It's hard to reconnect to some of that and feel like, oh, like I can't believe that happened. Like this woman, she's covering her face. And then on the other hand, you're also harnessing some of this King of Swords where you're like, okay, well, it is hard. It is difficult to connect with this pain, this grief, but I'm going in and I'm going to do it. And you might have some kind of like just a lot of determination and willpower to face it head on, whereas maybe in the past you were a little bit more avoidant of that energy. I want to read what it says about the waterfall in this oracle deck. Number 15. Moment of justice. Purify the heart and the mind will follow. This is a moment of clarity and transparency. To be free, you need to be honest, starting with yourself. I feel like that checks out with what we were talking about. It can be fairly easy to become your own predator and convince yourself of narratives that are not real. The voice of the spirit is subtle and can end up buried below self-doubt. This is why, in this moment, you need to be honest with yourself and understand the weight of your actions for the good deeds as well as the wrongdoings. Take accountability for your mistakes, but don't dwell in self-disappointment for too long. Instead, turn this energy into action by changing your behavior. Learning to be fair with yourself is difficult, so don't act as a merciless judge, but instead as a loving friend who wishes you the best. Be kind. You are aligning with your true self and breaking from patterns that perhaps come from generations before you. You are healing not only for yourself, but for all those who came before you and will come after you. Things are aligning. A new age is rising, and you are a part of it. Beautiful. Pile 2, I see that perhaps you have felt a lot of, or you were judging yourself a lot for some of the things in your past. Things that happened to you, things that you did because of the wounds that you had. And you are realizing now that it's okay to lay down your swords, that you don't need to attack yourself and you don't need to attack other people, that you can instead use that energy to pour more love into yourself. And that is the new energy that you are creating with your relationship towards your inner child. That instead of feeling like you have to hold on to these swords in the heart, that you are finding a way to move towards them, perhaps slowly, perhaps hesitantly at first, but with more compassion and with a gentle love. I also want to read more about these two fairies as well. We have these 211s, which is so beautiful. It's showing that you're moving through a portal into a new phase of a new relationship with yourself, with your inner child. Okay. The Lamia. Winter. Ethereal waves. First of all, that's hearkening. Some of the language from my religious upbringing is coming back. So maybe you were raised in a religious household or are like have a very oh, and now I don't have the words. Interesting. Okay, well, we're gonna read this. Your morale and self-esteem are boosted after a tricky situation is solved by patience and determination. Others may become elusive and their motives may make them difficult to understand. Turmoil may threaten to turn your plans upside down. Someone jealous may try to seduce your partner. What? Something that belongs to you may be contested, but it will not be lost. Do hold on to your highest hopes. You are on the way to living life in a way that you have always dreamed of. Okay. So I think that there are some things in here that are for you, which is mostly that you're moving in a direction that you have always dreamed of, that your morale and self-esteem are boosted after a tricky situation is solved by patience and determination, that you may have been for a long time feeling like this is all as good as it gets. This is kind of what I have in life, and you were kind of coming to terms with that maybe, or you didn't know how you were going to get out of the situation that you were in. But now that you have turned towards your inner child and your inner child is now meeting you more fully and you're building more trust with your inner child, it's opening up a whole new world for you, internally and externally. All right, let's read about the Boggle Fairy. Ew, that reminds me of boondoggle. Did you guys ever do that, where it's like that weird like thick string that's kind of plasticky, and you like fold it over each other to make like braided keychains and maybe even bracelets? Okay, this one is for the spring. So maybe you were in an internal winter and now you're moving into the spring, that wherever you are, you're noticing your seasons of life. Okay. Spring come before summer? Yes. Okay. Conscientious completion brings results. Prophetic imaginings become real. Avoid the temptation to transgress. See, there's a lot of words here around like religious things, like prophetic, transgress. What your instinct dictates is right, and you will be victorious during a testing time. There is unexpected financial gain or reward for ingenuity from a friend, relative, or employer. Plans for future activities and social engagements will find you in novel places and among new people, doing surprising things. Your patience and perseverance will be rewarded with treasures beyond your expectations. At the best of all possible times, your fairy godmother has never been so busy. This, again, there are more themes in here around things that you didn't think were possible becoming possible to you because of your perspective shifting, and also even like your social environment shifting, that your relationship with your inner child right now is really in a state of, the words that came to me were transient, which is just like it's shifting, and like influx, that you're allowing for more love, to receive more love and like reciprocity. I'm kind of envisioning this like the cycle, the recycle symbol, where it's like the arrow is pointing in all directions. That as you give energy to your inner child gives energy to you, and vice versa. That is a wonderful place to be in. And if you don't feel like you're quite there, I definitely think that this is a place that you are moving towards as you're going into this gate. Okay, next we're going to look at, what does your inner child want more of, and what do they want less of? Physically, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. We're going to use the Phantasma Tarot deck. I am going to shuffle these. I am like very gentle with my cards, so I don't do the whole like bridge thing. Oh, this is making me think of, did you guys ever have one of those shuffle machines? Or did you ever see one of those as a kid? My cousins had one of those, where you put the cards in to the side and it shuffles all the cards for you. Normally I would like be more aggressive, but with my tarot cards, I'm like, I just want to baby them. Okay, this is what your inner child wants more of physically. This is what they want more of emotionally. Ooh, that one jumped out. The Knight of Wands. Got more wands for your relationship with your inner child. In the beginning, we had swords, and now we're getting wands. Okay, let's see. Oh, now we got some more swords. Let's see if I can get these all in here. Got the Nine of Swords and the Ace of Swords. Scoochie. And then what does your inner child want more of spiritually? Justice. Okay. Your inner child wants more Seven of Wands. Physically, when you're looking at this, you have what looks like a bat that's under attack. This you know what this is showing me, this is what's coming up for me, is first of all, this bat has all of these flowers on the wings and it's sticking out its tongue. That physically your inner child is saying, I want to spread my wings. Your inner child is saying, I know that you are afraid of maybe like retaliation or naysayers, whatever. It's making me think of like a witch being burned at the stake, being canceled, whatever that might look like in your world. That feeling of or fear of not being liked, but your inner child is saying, I want to put myself out there. So whether that's like putting yourself out there on a stage or posting content online or just sharing what you write or create with the people in your physical world, that your inner child wants to spread your wings and share your success in a more tangible, physical way. This could be even something like sharing it. I was just thinking, sharing it with yourself, that you might be the naysayer sometimes, and in this instance, like the bat has giant ears, right? That your inner child is saying, I want more being seen, I want more being heard, I want more being understood by you. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says if you see me, if you understand me, if you pile two are there to catch me if I fall. That physically you showing up for me, it's making me think of like a parent showing up for a child for their sporting events or their whatever performance that they have, that you are showing up for your inner child in a very real, tangible way. It's giving quality time. That's what your inner child is craving from you physically. Whatever it is that is meaningful and significant to you, that will really help to build trust with your inner child. To be there in those little moments and to create that acknowledgement of, hey, I was there with you and I'm here with you. I've got you. I've got your back. Even things like putting your arms around your inner child or like around yourself when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed in a moment and saying, hey, I've got you. Okay. The Knight of Wands for what your inner child wants more of emotionally. Emotionally, I'm noticing this little creature down here while the knight is like leaping over and blowing fire. This feels like emotionally your inner child wants you to see the little details of your pain as well as the fun things. Like this is making me think of holding onto a stuffy or like whatever playful things you enjoy. And your inner world being a safe place for you to rest. That if you turned off all the noise, your music, your conversations with other people, and you were just quiet with yourself, that your inner child is wanting more emotional safety to express whatever is coming up for you in that moment, for it to be okay that you're feeling sad, or to be okay that you are hungry, are scared, are excited, even that sometimes we can shut down that passion or that curiosity because we think, oh, I need to be focused or serious, or I have this checklist of things I need to do. So your inner child wants more of you allowing for all that you are to be okay, to be more than okay, to be what fuels your passion, that fuels your desire to be alive. That not just one aspect of you is okay to be there. What does your inner child want more of intellectually? The Nine of Swords and the Ace of Swords came out for this. So, again, with the swords, we're seeing that your inner child, the first word that came up was boundaries. Your inner child wants more communication of what is too much for you, of what is, and also what you want. This is the what's too much, and this is the what you want. This is like, ooh, like go towards this. I want this. On an intellectual level, your inner child knows that you need boundaries, and you know that you need boundaries, and is grateful when you set those. It helps your inner child feel safer. And your inner child is asking you to breathe. It wants more breath, and it's interesting, this one, we have this like circle portal that goes towards the light, and it's almost like this one is where you've met the light. I think that your inner child is saying, I want more following the butterflies, following the sunshine, following the things that inspire you and light you up. And that it's interesting that this is coming up on in the intellectual sphere, because that can kind of seem like a more emotional thing, but it is aligning your intellect and your emotions more seamlessly, because your brain, it doesn't have to work so hard to conjure up what's next, to think through your checklist of to-dos, because you're allowing your body and your passion to guide you more. That it doesn't have to be so like, you don't have to remember all of the details of everything all the time, because your body is just telling you, oh, remember, we need to do this now, instead of your brain trying to collect everything that you need to do and hold on to it. Okay. And your inner child wants more justice on a spiritual level. This feels also connected to the boundaries thing, that spiritually, you might feel like you are responsible to enact justice for yourself. or for other people. That like if you don't hold yourself accountable to an inane degree, to like this crazy level of, you might not realize that you're doing it all the time, but almost like torturing yourself so that you're proving to yourself like, oh, this is a bad thing and I don't want to do bad things. It's like the idea that like discipline or punishment would be a better word, is going to teach you a lesson. But instead you're realizing that, oh, actually love and self-care and an awareness of my personal needs and desires is helping that justice to naturally unfold, not only for myself, but for other people. That when I have a full cup, when I'm able to take care of myself to a healthy level and allow others to help me and support me, I am in turn able to help and support them. And that reciprocity is just a natural outcome that your inner child, I'm even seeing like these little guys down here holding their little, this kind of looks like a lantern to me, little candlestick and a little sword, another sword. Your inner child is very insistent on boundaries right now, very insistent on you being clear about what takes energy from you and what gives you energy. All right, let's find out what your inner child wants less of. On a physical level, your inner child wants less Ace of Wands. Less Seven of Swords. Can you see these? Yep. Woo! You got 2 again for the intellectual. They're running away. And then for spiritual, the 6 of Wands. You know, I saw the 6 of Wands in my mind's eye and I thought that this was the 6 of Wands at first, which kind of makes sense because they have a similar posture. So I'm glad that it came out because I think it wanted to be here. All right, so your inner child wants less Ace of Wands on a physical level. Okay. You know what just came to mind with this is the movie A Bug's Life. So maybe that's a movie that you've been thinking about recently or have been wanting to watch recently. And this in particular is making me think of Princess Ada. She is a character who is starting to take on the responsibilities of the kingdom, and she's being taught by the people, or by her mother, the queen, what it means to be the queen of this kingdom. And she has a lot of people around her who are telling her or really doubting her abilities as the princess or the queen when she's going to take over. And her mother is, you know, trying to be supportive, but Princess Ada is still like having a lot of doubts, having a lot of insecurities. And so your inner child is saying, on a physical level, with going back to this, you don't need to doubt yourself. Let's doubt ourselves less. Let's take on the roles of our personal kingdom. I want less noise from people around. Less, like going back to this card as well, that the people in the outside world, they don't know you and your personal mission, whatever that means to you. They don't know your dreams and how to make them come true. Only you know that. So if you can tune out more of the noise, that's what your inner child is wanting. To make more physical space, more rituals, more routines in your life. Maybe that means just creating some form of meditation. And that doesn't always have to mean just like sitting in silence with your legs crossed, with your hands on your, in the like home position. That's not always what a meditation needs to look like. It could be going on a walk. It could be like taking a nice bath or a shower. I receive a lot of my inspiration in the water. Figuring out what that means for you on a physical level, which elements you connect with the most as well. Like maybe for you, you really connect to fire, and so burning things from your past could be extremely powerful in you releasing some of these voices from your past. Maybe you are somebody who connects a lot with water, so going swimming, taking baths, taking showers, even like filling a bottle or a bowl of water and speaking your worries into the water and then letting that water go down the drain or pouring it into over your weeds. Finding rituals that are going to help you cut out your naysayers. Okay. And emotionally, the Seven of Swords. This person's got quite the cloak, the cape. Just his whole get up, the hat, all those like little dangling things. Oh, and there's somebody in the back, like a face in the background as well. This is a repeat card, Seven of Wands. Oh, that's Seven of Wands. Never mind. This is Seven of Swords, but sevens might be significant to you. We have two aces. Okay, so the Seven of Swords in the emotional position, your inner child is wanting this is showing me that you have a very expansive and sensitive inner world, which is a great power and a great ability to connect with everyone and everything. But your inner child is saying you don't have to be so open to absorbing everything all the time. That when it comes to things like somebody coming to you with a stressful thing that they're experiencing, or even watching something that makes you emotional, that you get to be a more sovereign ruler over your emotional world. And your inner child is saying, I want less of you just allowing everything in. It goes back to the boundaries thing, and that this inner world of yours is your inner sanctum, and that only you are allowed into the innermost parts of that world, that only you have experienced every part of your life experiences with yourself. You're the only one who's been there the whole time, experiencing it from your perspective. And it's okay not to soak up other people's chaos all the time. And that's what your inner child is asking for less of, is less emotional I'm thinking of now like a vacuum, and like just going along and picking up everything that it collects into this the bag. And now instead you're filtering. Your inner child wants you to filter out what doesn't belong, or just be more aware of the energy that you're surrounding yourself with. And that's not to say that you can't spend time with people, or that you can't be around people who are not, like, it doesn't have to be like a ranking of people, a ranking of humans, but just be aware of how you feel, and if your energy aligns with theirs. Okay. Intellectually, the King of Cups and the Seven of Cups. Your inner child. Okay, this juxtaposition right here. We have the swords and then we have the cups. And here's another 7. We've got 3 sevens. Your inner child wants less. I'm repeating myself here again with the boundaries, with the emotional collecting, and that it can sometimes feel like you have to choose very, like, be so selective or be so particular that you're a picky person. Maybe people have called you a picky. But when you get to know yourself in a very detailed way, it helps you to take a step back and settle into your own emotional depth. Your inner child is wanting more awareness around that emotional depth and less guilt for it. Less of you being at war with your own sensitivity. Less hesitation to say, this is what I need, and this is why I need it. It's interesting that I got so muddled in trying to communicate some of this. And I think that maybe you have been starting to come to a place of greater, that you're becoming more assured in your own power when you're on your own. But it might still be difficult for you to communicate that to other people. That when you're in certain communities or around, just certain types of people, that you find it harder to express yourself. And that in and of itself could be a sign to you that, maybe these people aren't the type of people that I want to be spending my time with. Your inner child, on a spiritual level, wants less performance. Less of you pretending to be something that you just aren't. Less masking, less needing to put on a show. And you're really starting to notice the places, spaces, people who you start to feel like, I'm putting on a performance right now. I need to show up in a certain way. And you might have moments, even with people that you feel really safe with, even with yourself, where you notice yourself slipping back into those routines. But with yourself and with the people that you feel safe with, you can recognize it and you can acknowledge that, that was just a pattern from the past and I don't need to carry that anymore. Whereas with people where you don't feel safe, you might realize, hey, I don't want to spend as much time and energy around these people because I still feel the need to perform, and it's a very consistent pattern. Okay. Pile 2. Next, we're going to look at how you can stay connected to your inner child more consistently. that perhaps you will have these moments of feeling like, yes, like I'm connected to my inner child, I'm feeling that wonder and feeling playful, feeling like things are magical and great, but then you fall out of it. So how can you stay more in communion, in connection with that inner child? We're looking at it through the every little thing you do is magic tarot, which I think is perfect. And these cards, for whatever reason, they remind me of like the clip art pages. I don't know if you guys did this when you were a kid, but in my computer lab at school, we would use this certain program where we could like put stickers and just basically like go crazy doing all these different designs. And for whatever reason, these cards remind me of that. So I think it's a great one to help us connect with your inner child. Okay, how will Pile to connect to their inner child more consistently? Oh, I just had a heart attack thinking that I was not recording. Two of Wands. Okay, let's get two more for how you can stay in connection with, my goodness. I'm laughing about the Death card because I've pulled this card in so many readings lately. Okay, the Two of Wands. What came out for me, or is coming forward, is that this is your sanctuary. And from your sanctuary that you are creating for yourself internally and externally, your decisions are naturally flowing from it. And that the safety that you're creating for your inner child is how you're going to stay more connected to them. That you might have moments in your day where you're busy or at work, you're taking care of kids, you're, concerned about your friends or family or whoever. But if you are able to create that inner sanctuary with yourself and really preserve time to cultivate a sense of safety with your body, your nervous system, and like really regulate your nervous system through grounding, but also through play, through doing things that you really enjoy, then the decisions that you're making are going to just naturally blossom and bloom from that sense of stability. Interesting. That was like a very interesting interpretation that I got from that card. And then Death, as how you can stay connected to your inner child. You know, this card is actually making me think of the School of Rock for some reason, and Jack Black in particular. So if you've been wanting to watch that movie, maybe this is your sign, or just being more willing to go against the status quo. That the Death card it generally symbolizes like an ending, that one season of your life, one cycle is coming to a close, and we can feel like that sense of grief or like loss, that maybe it's because, you know, you had to move or you had to just end something, and that can suck. It can be not very fun. But this Death card, as for like a way that you can stay connected to your inner child, is saying, while yes, it can be really hard to let go, your inner child is saying, like, remember a little bit of rebellion, or a little bit of stick it to the man in these moments where you are finding a way to turn your grief, turn your hard moments or the endings on, like, flip them on their head in some way. And now I'm thinking particularly of the scene where they're all in School of Rock, where the class is pretending that they all have some like incurable disease and they're all gonna die, so that the judges of this music competition will let them perform. So I'm not saying that you need to like create some elaborate lie, but just to have some like more lighthearted, not taking it too seriously when things seem to be going wrong, that maybe it isn't going so wrong after all, and you're going to figure out a way to make it even better than it was through something very theatrical, dramatic, sometimes even like morose, or what other people might consider gross. That for you, like, leaning into it's, now I'm thinking of like a kid playing with a mud, like making a mud pie, or like just not being afraid to get dirty, that you're involving more of your sensory experience into your world, and that is allowing you to like come face to face with death, so to speak, to come face to face with your experience of being a human. Okay, and then the Oracle of Swords. The Oracle is also the Queen. So all of this is showing transformation. Like all of these butterflies. And the peacock. Just lots of color after the death card. Let's read in the book what it says about the oracle. The oracle is an intuitive, fast-paced ruler. They know how to get what they want. With confidence and wisdom, they carry the heaviest of burdens with grace. You too can lead with your head while your heart remains steady and sure. You value compassion and empathy, but right now they are distractions from your astute judgment. Trust in your ability to see things truthfully and to tell it like it is. No bullshit here. That's Where I Am by Maggie Rogers is the song. The scent is ylang ylang, custard, and neroli. And the crystal is azurite, decisiveness, shaking it off, and emotional depth. Yeah, I definitely think that your inner child, if we have one word to summarize this entire reading, it would be boundaries. It would be that you are becoming more decisive, more aware of what is for you, what is not for you, and letting go of the need to please people that no longer fit in your life. And perhaps there is some grief in it, but maybe your inner child is saying, we can do it with a little bit more pizzazz, a little more humor, have a little bit more fun with it. All right, the very last thing that we're going to do is ask your inner child what they would say to you right now. They had a message for you, what would it be? Some advice, words of wisdom, what they want the most, whatever it might be, what they would say right now. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's find out what your inner child would say. Okay. Soil with stability and simplicity. No, that actually fits quite well with the Two of Wands card. Fog kind of fits well with death. Obscurity, feeling lost. And roots, healthy patterns, early growth. We have lots of roots. You know, I think that what your inner child is saying to you right now is, if you feel like you're in the fog, if you feel like your roots are just at the beginning stages of and you aren't seeing the results yet, that your work is paying off and that the fog is going to clear, that you're going to make it through this season, this moment of feeling lost, and that you aren't really lost, that your inner child trusts you. That your inner child wants you to know that you have more stability and that you can simplify. That you can put down some of the things that you feel like you need to do that have been weighing you down, have been pulling on your energy this way or that way, and just do the things that really matter to you, that are the most important. And you can start with something fun, something playful, something exciting. Honestly, all of these cards are kind of reminding me of The Nightmare Before Christmas. And maybe you've been feeling like you've been stuck in a rut, or like things aren't changing. But just as the very beginning cards told us, you are moving through this portal and things are clearing for you. That you are getting to your waterfall, to this like much brighter, more colorful, peaceful place. And in fact, this has been within you the entire time, and you can go there anytime you need to, even if it doesn't look like it's manifesting on the outside yet. That your power is very palpable, and people can feel it, which might make them feel a little bit threatened sometimes. But that doesn't mean that you should shut it down. Your inner child is asking you to spread your wings and is feeling excited about all the possibilities of you embracing your magic even more and letting go of the things that don't serve you anymore. So that's what I have for you today, Pile 2. Thank you so much for being here. If you have enjoyed this, if there's been something that's specifically resonated with you, I'd love to know down in the comments. If you've had a memory come up for you that your inner child has reminded you of, let me know. If you would like to connect with me in another way, I will put those links down below. If you're interested in a personal reading, please like if you have enjoyed, and subscribe if you'd like to stick around. Thanks again. Love you. Bye. Okay, I'm back. I had some technical difficulties. Intellectually, your inner child wants less obsession with balance. Perhaps you're somebody who always wants to be in Zen mode. Maybe you can want to you can hold on very tightly to needing to hold yourself together, to have it all together. But what your inner child is saying is you don't need to do that so much, and that your intellectual power, your intellectual capability will be able to shine more when you let go a little bit more. That you don't need to have every single meticulous detail all lined up in order to prove your intelligence. That your magic is really going to shine when you just acknowledge that you already are intelligent. You already are capable and magical. You already have all of those things within you, and that in any given moment, if you're able to just relax, which is easier said than done, if you're able to just acknowledge that you already know your shit, you already know what's up, that you have studied enough, that you have the skills that you need to be able to perform or show up in any given moment, and that if you're able to let go more of the checklist, that's the word that keeps coming up for me, the to-dos, the need to keep everything in balance, in perfect order, that it naturally will work out a lot better than you think it will, because you're more at ease. You're able to bring out the tools that you need in any given moment. And if something does go not according to plan, you naturally know, oh, hey, like in this given moment, I wasn't planning on needing a hammer, but I know I can use my hammer. Or I wasn't planning on needing this wrench, but I know how to use a wrench. Or whatever you type of tools it is that you use for your field, like that you're able to improvise. And spiritually, your inner child wants less of you feeling like you need to be the court jester. Maybe you're somebody who uses a lot of humor or a lot of performance. Maybe you have certain masks that you wear in certain environments, and your inner child is saying you don't need all of these different masks, this different legs. Like I'm seeing all of these swirly legs, and how he really does. He looks like a court jester. To be yourself, that you already know how to be yourself. It's not something you have to rehearse or practice. And so you can let go of a lot of that rumination or planning for the future with scripting or imagining all of the different ways that it could go, and just be here in this moment. All right. Last, we are going to look at, what would your inner child say to you right now? Oh, no, just kidding. I don't want to skip this. How can you stay connected to your inner child more consistently? We're using the Every Little Thing You Do Is Magic tarot. And every little thing you do is magic, pile 3. Whether you realize it or not. All of your thoughts, your actions, just your existence is pure magic. I think your inner child is reminding you of that right now. Like if you go and look in the mirror, holy moly, that's magic. Ten of Cups for how you can more consistently stay connected to your inner child. The Fool, and we had a bunny at the very beginning. So that's talking about starting from scratch, new beginnings, not being afraid to be a beginner. And the World. Well, so how you're going to stay more consistently connected to your inner child is by embracing the abundance that you have in your life, by noticing the rainbows, by looking at these like a very eclectic goblets, cups up here, and that you are gathering your tribe, your community around you, whether that is people that you already know or people that you are going to meet, your chosen family, your soul tribe, and they are going to be a support to you in staying connected to your inner child. The Ten of Cups is a cup. It is a cup. It is a card of emotional fulfillment. It's a card that reminds you that not only do you have the emotional fulfillment on your own, but you can also have it with other people. And I feel like that's been a consistent theme in your reading from the beginning, is that you are not only starting to experience that expansion and opening yourself up to receiving love and that reciprocity within yourself, but then now you're opening yourself up to receiving love from other people, from your community, and people who really resonate with you, who see you, that you don't have to try so hard to explain yourself or get them to understand you. They just do because they've been through similar things, or they are really good at reading energy like you are. And that is going to help you stay more connected to your inner child because you are replenishing each other. That you are inviting each other to play in ways that you used to when you were a child too. Like, I'm thinking of the games that you used to play with your friends when you were a kid, whether that's, like this came up in the first reading too, with pile one, like night games, or like playing house, playing witches, horses, restaurant, orphans. What other things might you have played? Whatever it is that you played with your friends when you were a kid, that you're not afraid to just be goofy and weird and whoever it is that you are. That if you show up in your costume one day, or you show up in your sweatpants, or you show up however it is that you are, your friends are not going to find it off-putting. It's only going to endear them more towards you and you towards them. Okay, the Fool, again, it's not being afraid to try new things or to go return to things that you have enjoyed in the past with fresh eyes, with that childlike wonder, the newness, the curiosity, and that through that starting fresh mentality, that you're able to take a leap into the unknown, that you're able to find things that you didn't realize were there, but they had been there the entire time. And maybe you are trying something completely outside of your comfort zone, or maybe you're doing something that you have always enjoyed, but you lost track of it for a long time. Like you're returning to movies that you loved to watch when you were a kid, or books that you read in elementary school. Maybe you're playing games or playing with toys that, or remembering those things, and that is opening you back up to and connecting yourself back to your inner child and helping you stay connected to that inner child. And helping you realize too how connected you have been this entire time through music, or through the things that you've chosen to have in your personal space, like the decorations or the hobbies that you chose. And the world is showing you that you'll stay connected to your inner child no matter where you go. No matter which portal you step through, your inner child is always going to be with you. And whatever you discover as something new and exciting and expansive, your inner child has been with you this entire time and has been part of the inner wisdom and the guidance that has been helping you and supporting you throughout your entire journey. And if you can remind yourself of that and stay connected to that, it will help you to have that ever-present connection to your inner child. Instead of feeling like you are disconnected from your childlike wonder or feeling like things are magical, you'll realize that it's always been within you this entire time. That every part of you that has led you up to where you are now, from your baby self to toddler to your preteen stage, every single version of you has a piece of who you are now, is a piece of who you are now. All right, last we're going to look at what your inner child would want to say to you right now. If you were to get a message from your inner child, and I'm hearing right now, maybe you want to actually write something or channel something through art, whatever it means to you to channel a message. That would be directly from your inner child, that would be very meaningful to your inner child. That they have a lot that they want to say to you. And that would feel very rewarding to be able to express that to you. Through writing or painting or chalk drawings, finger painting, collage, mood board, with that intention. Okay, this is what your inner child would say to you right now. Energy, leadership, creativity, carnelian. Chamomile, gentleness, relaxation, sleep. Let's get one more. Seeds, new ideas, hope, open-mindedness. What I'm hearing is, well, I'm seeing these candles. I'm hearing that your inner child wants to say to you that you are a natural leader, that you are extremely creative and have a lot more to expand into than you might realize right now. That it's okay to rest and to take it slow as you are expanding into this new stage of your life. Your inner child says, don't sweat the small stuff. Your inner child says, I like sleepovers. Okay. I'm hearing the song, Let's to Get Together, yeah, 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 why don't you and I come by? I'm thinking your inner child is hearing or is showing me Stranger Things, and the part where Elle and Max are playing Spin the Bottle, and they're visiting different people. I think that your inner child wants to say, you might not get what you're expecting from opening your mind to new possibilities, to your new ideas. But that's the point. That you don't have to hold on so tightly to how you think it should be, that you can just let it be what it is. That your inner child wants you to create a space for yourself, like maybe an altar or some sort of whatever a sanctuary would be for you, like now I'm thinking of Harry Potter when he's like under the covers reading his books with the flashlight, like something for you that's a ritual safe space to explore and open yourself up to your own creative energy, whether that's through tea or whatever it means to you. That your inner child says, you know what that is, and I will help you to connect to that, to remember things that we used to do when we were a kid and new ways that we can do it now, that we're a grown-up and don't have so many rules, that we get to make our own rules now. Thank you so much for being here, Pile 3. It was wonderful to do this reading for you. Please share in the comments anything that came up for you during this reading, any memories that you had of early childhood memories, or just things that resonated with you. Subscribe if you feel so inclined, like it if you enjoyed. Check out the links below if you're interested in a personal reading with me or connecting with me in other ways. I have a free resource available that is to help you design the life of your dreams. I worked hard on it and I'm really proud of it. So go check it out. It's really fun and interactive. And I will see you in the next one. Love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the glow-in-the-dark skeleton duck and the tigress, then this is your reading. Before I started your reading, I started getting really excited and I had a major throat chakra clearing. I was coughing. So I think that your inner child has a lot to say and is very excited that you are here for this reading. First, we are going to find out what your overall energy is right now, and we're going to do a little throwback with the I Spy game. And we're going to grab 6 cards to just have a little fun and get us in the energy of our inner child, while also checking in with your current energy. Okay. Grab. Let's see what we got. Got the bunny rabbit with a fan behind, and then it looks like a lamb behind. Got a cheetah or some other, I can never tell them apart, a toothbrush, a 5 of hearts, and then some other sort of like scrub brush or something. A clown, nail. What is the clown holding? A magic wand? Or maybe it's like the handle of this thing. Some rubber ducks. And a card down here and a clock. Fish behind. Horsies. Another one on the shelf. These look like they could go right next to each other. And a doll. This looks like Christmas time. With some presents, and this looks like some sort of art. Okay, so maybe you have been inspired to go to the dentist or have some more oral hygiene. Maybe you really like horses, or you've been wanting to take horseback riding lessons or watch a movie about horses. There are things about water, ducks, fishies. So maybe you've been going to a pond, or that's something that you enjoy. We have something about Christmas time and something about maybe like rituals, traditions. Maybe you've been reconnecting with some of your traditions, your favorite memories from past times. Yeah, there it is again. More, you know, this actually almost looks like a drawing down here. Maybe you like to draw This fan in the background is actually reminding me of Mulan, when they all have their fans covering their faces. So maybe you've been wanting to watch or have recently watched Mulan or something Disney related. So really this is just for fun, to get us in the spirit of connecting with our inner child, remembering toys that we used to play with or games we liked to play. Goodness, excuse me. Now we're going to look at your relationship currently with your inner child. So we have the tigress, and then we have the Nereid. We have the giant, and then we have the Six of Cups, and we have the Seven of Wands. I'll rearrange. Okay. So the giant says, great strides are taken, gigantic shadows fade. And the Nereid says, romantic love will always find a way, two hearts will unite. This is making me think that you have met some of your larger shadows, and as you've done that, instead of them being this like big haunting monster that's following you around, that's starting to dissipate and they're starting to come onto your side, that you're feeling more in harmony with the parts of you that you may have not known as well before, that have maybe been in the shadows and are now coming more into the light, into your awareness. And this card is reminding me, or making me think, that you are starting to romanticize your life more, that through the little things, the daydreams of your life, you're spreading that into the little details of the way that you care for yourself. Maybe you're getting more into something like glamour magic, where you look in the mirror in the morning and you speak affirmations as you're putting on your skincare, or you are driving to work and instead of just, turning on the news, you're jamming out to your favorite music, or you're listening to something that feels magical to you, or you're observing the world around you with more of that childlike wonder, that everything around you is becoming a lot more romantic because you don't have those shadows looming in the background as much. that perhaps you were feeling, or maybe still are a little bit, feeling like you have had like your back up against the cliff, and that there were a lot of things internally, and perhaps that was also manifesting externally, or is manifesting externally, and your inner child was feeling very threatened. And now you're starting to move into a place of being more in harmony with your inner child, that you're feeling more like there's a reciprocity there, instead of it being like you're going into a state of panic all the time. That like this is the adult version of you, and this is the inner child version of you, and you're able to offer each other support. That the inner child can offer you the whimsy and the curiosity and the magic of life, the romanticism, and the adult version of you offers the inner child the support and the structure, the boundaries that help the inner child to feel that sense of stability and safety. Let's read about the tigress from the guidebook. The tigress, spirit of kindness, extend your heart to the world around you. Yeah, that fits very well with the energy that I'm feeling for you. It requires a lot of strength to remain kind in a world where your heart could easily be broken. This is why kindness is not only an act of love, but an act of courage. Goodness, I'm having so much throat clearing for you. You might have a lot to say, pile 3. Like, your voice wants to be heard. Imagine a tigress in the wilderness, capable of giving her own life to keep her cubs safe if necessary, capable of protecting, feeding, and nurturing them until they can stand on their own. As Andy Stanley says, kindness is loaning someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness. Today, the spirit of the tigress wants to remind you of your immense heart, capable of loving deeply and fiercely and willing to share it with the world. It is by being open, generous, and considerate that your heart expands and doors will open up to you, because the universe will mirror that loving energy into your life. Through your kind heart, you are capable of nurturing and bringing prosperity to everyone around you. But make sure that you also take care of yourself. As someone who enjoys giving a lot, you might put yourself last. Make sure that you're also giving energy to your own dreams. Remember, you can be kind and generous while having strong boundaries. This part of you, this inner child, the relationship that you are building with this inner child, is feeling that you are ready to open yourself back up to the world. That for a long time, perhaps you were feeling very scared, very in the shadows, like you needed to close yourself up to protect yourself from the things that had hurt you in the past, from your trauma, from past heartbreak and wounding. And now you're reaching this point where you're feeling ready to expand and open up, to be heard, to be seen again. And you have this giant heart that's so kind and generous. And you're learning now to pour that love into yourself, so that you can then extend that love to the people around you. And that as you're doing that, it is magnifying the love that is within you. is mirroring it back to you as you're noticing it more and more. Oh, this is beautiful relationship that you're cultivating with your inner child. Okay, now we're going to look at what does your inner child want more of, and what does your inner child want less of on a physical level, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. And we're using the Phantasma Tarot deck for that. Yeah, I was not clearing my throat for any of the other piles, so. All right. Got the Nine of Wands as what your inner child wants more of physically, emotionally. Beautiful, the Star. Intellectually, Ten of Swords. And what about spiritually? Whoa. I want a lot spiritually. Let's see, can you see all of these? This is what your inner child wants more of spiritually. 3 things. The Knight of Pentacles, the Djinn, and Awakening. Okay, so let's start out with what they want. Your inner child wants more of physically. The Nine of Wands. This creature, this cheetah, you're having lots of large cats in your reading, is standing in front of, or this cross of wands, and goodness, do you hear that? It really does feel like you are charged up, that you have a lot of motivation and energy and fuel behind you, but perhaps you have this like darkness that is like in your periphery, in your memory, that is telling you, or that's still close by, that you didn't just magically leave that behind and think, oh yeah, like that's never going to affect me ever again. That you've stepped out of the cave and now you're feeling like it's time for you to face what's next. But your inner child is wanting more. The word that's coming to me is leniency. More awareness that your that what came before is wisdom on a physical level, and that your body isn't trying to hold you back. That your body knows what you have experienced and holds wisdom, like the body keeps the score, and that as you listen to that, it will show you what you need to know. This is actually reminding me of when Violet and Dash are in the cave waiting for their parents, and their parents, this is from the movie The Incredibles, they are looking, like Dash is looking around in the cave, and he sees the ship, and Violet is practicing her trying to make little, like trying to practice making her force field, and she's having a harder time doing it, and she's feeling a little bit traumatized by what just happened to them on the plane. They were attacked, they were under attack, and she wasn't able to make the force field in that like moment of that they were under attack, and she's feeling a little bit hard. She's being a little bit hard on herself, but then she's trying to practice while they're in the cave, and then Dash comes running out, and he's like, Vi, we gotta get out of here. And they run out just in time and get out of the way, but then they have to start fighting as the children. But then they start to come into their own power. They start to become aware of what they are capable of. So I think that your inner child is saying to you, first of all, what happened in the past, it's in the past, and you don't need to tell yourself that that story is going to happen again. That maybe it did happen where you weren't able to create the force field in the way that you wanted to, that you weren't as aware of your power back then, that you weren't as aware of your energetic boundaries or your physical limitations, whatever it might be for you. But now you are. Now you have so much more awareness than you did back then, and you're going to take that with you into the next chapter of your journey. Well, okay. That was a big channeled message right there. Okay, your emotionally, what does your inner child want emotionally? The Star. Your inner child emotionally wants you to realize your own star power. That you shine so brightly, whether you realize it or not. That your inner child wants you to realize that underneath all of the pain that you've experienced is your inner child, is the part of you that is excited about life, that is curious about the mysteries of the cosmos. That maybe when you were a little child, you felt like you didn't belong, that you felt like you were an outsider and that you didn't fit here on earth. But your inner child is saying you do fit, and emotionally wants you to hold your inner child and say, I've got you now. We belong here. You belong with me. I belong with you. Maybe that song is significant to you. You belong with me. And realize that you have found your home on earth, and that you're like planting yourself here and blooming into this beautiful, radiant starseed here. Intellectually, your inner child wants you to know, wants more This card is reminding me of a Jack in the Box. And then that isn't actually making me think of the movie Elf, where he is in the factory trying to make toys, and they're looking at him and they're like, what's wrong with you? You've only made like 3 toys in the time that we've made 100 toys. So intellectually, you might look at your life and like on paper, your life doesn't compare to some of the people that you graduated with, or people in your family, or people in your neighborhood, or your community. And you might think, well, what's wrong with me? What do I not have? Like, why can't I measure up in all of these like markers of success, whether it comes to career or relationships or making money, where you live, the car you drive, like all of these material possessions. And your inner child is saying, we want less of these daggers in the back. Whether it comes from you putting them in there yourself in the name of almost like trying to prevent other people from doing that. Like, oh, if I do it myself, then other people can't make fun of me. And that it seems like this would be a good strategy, but your inner child is telling you it wants more time, more awareness of who you actually are, who you actually want to be. That you might spend a lot of time trying to fit yourself into this box, and you're wanting to get out. And you can see that on a very logical level now. That it's not just in the background or like in an emotional way or whatever, but you're starting to see that in it's starting to make sense to you. It's starting to make sense to your brain too. You're getting your brain and your hearts to meet each other. And your inner child is saying, yes, more of this, please. More. Getting out of the box and not like taking out the swords. Okay. Spiritually, your inner child has multiple requests. The Knight of Pentacles, I need a Band-Aid. The Knight of Pentacles, I think that this is supposed to be the same as the Devil. And then the Awakening. So your inner child is wanting you to wanting more of slow and steady, moving towards your practical dreams and goals. I'm noticing this knight's wings, and they're small, and they might not look like they could even carry him, because he's this, giant rhino creature. And he is still in pursuit. He's still focused on where he wants to go. That is where his attention is. And what your inner child is saying is there might be a lot of other stuff going on in the periphery around you. A lot of things that feel overwhelming, stressful, scary. But if you can redirect your attention to where it is that you want to go, then that's how you're going to get there. And on a spiritual level, whatever that means to you, whether that's, meditation or something more esoteric, directing your focus towards where you want to go. That is what your inner child is wanting. And to open the cage, to let yourself have more freedom to explore your inner world, from the dark parts to the parts that are more illuminated, and allowing the lighter parts to shed light on the darker shadow aspects, so that the shadow aspects don't feel so scary anymore, that you don't feel like you have so many monsters in your closet. I was actually thinking about Monsters Inc. before I started filming your reading, and you're channeling, instead of using like the screams, the fear, the distress in your life to be your power, you're instead channeling the laughter and the play and the excitement to be your power, to turn on the lights. And that is your awakening. That is what your inner child really wants. That there are so many possibilities that your inner child can see, and everything is becoming a possibility again. Instead of feeling like you are closed off, caged off. And that's what your inner child wants more of. Okay, let's find out what they want less of. What does pile 3's inner child want? Oh my goodness. Less of. That was for physically. Let's get. Where did it even go? Oh my goodness. Okay. I got this. Cards flying everywhere. Okay, we got the 2 of Pentacles for what the inner child wants less of physically, what they want less of emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. Let's see. Page of Cups. Okay. So the 2 of Pentacles, your inner child wants less hemming and hawing, less dancing back and forth between 2 possibilities, and more forward movement towards your passion. More allowing yourself to try something out and let it be okay if you make a mistake. Let it be okay if it doesn't work out the way that you expected it to, and not expecting yourself to have every single thing planned out in advance all the time. That perhaps you're somebody who wants to have like every single detail of everything that you have in your life, like that you want a lot of control, whether that means that you're the person who, you know, has the entire packing list and you're checking it twice, that you're giving up a little bit more of that, loosening the reins a little bit on that. That there are always multiple ways that things can pan out, and the 2 of Pentacles is kind of like you're juggling lots of things at the same time, and your inner child is saying it's okay to let some of it go. Let yourself not be so meticulous. It's reminding me of actually this workbook that I have for OCD where they say it's okay for you to live a C minus life, that sometimes we can expect ourselves to always be living an A plus life. And if you are like that, where you are demanding yourself to be always living like you're like a very much a perfectionist, shoot for like average. Try to do something in your life average that just doesn't matter that much, or get rid of some things in your life that you don't really need to be doing. Cut something out of your to-do list this week. That's what your inner child is wanting on a physical level. Because when you do that, you realize, first of all, when I do something average, I'm actually doing it really well. And it didn't need to be that over the top to begin with. And I'm actually able to do a lot more of the things that I enjoy, but not feel so exhausted doing it. I'm just able to enjoy it and be more playful. And also, I can just feel more freedom to say no, even though I might think that I have to say yes to all of the things. Okay. And what does your inner child want less of emotionally? The 9 of Swords and the Ace of Swords. You know, it's interesting, pile 2 got both of these cards in a different position. So the 9 of Swords and the Ace of Swords together, this is showing me that emotionally your inner child is saying, I want less hiding emotionally, that I would like to open up more and to communicate more of my feelings to the people around me. I would like to tell them when I need help. I would like to tell them when I don't want them around, when I'm done. Or it could be even something like expressing yourself through like if you like to write, then reading that to people. So it's showing less hiding your inner world and less feeling like you need to control how other people perceive you emotionally. Okay, intellectually,